Cable management is something that just was not an option in older computers. Nowadays, there are so many ways that you can hide cables away. In order to try and bring some of that mentality to retro PC gaming, it requires a little bit of sideways thinking. So here are some tips and tricks that I've picked up in the few years that I've been building PCs to try to make the cables a little tidier and easier to work with. The first big hurdle to jump over is non-modular power supplies. There's just a bunch of multicolored cables just vomiting out of your PSU. Ugh, it's gross. So what I've taken to doing is using a piece of this stuff. Now you can find this online by searching for braided sleeving or cable sleeving. So I'll cut off a length of this. It stretches out over the power plug and it'll go over those 20 cables absolutely fine. Hold it in place on either end with a little cable tie. And if you were really fancy at this point, you could put some heat shrink on either end of this to keep it nice and tidy. But I'm a cheapskate, so I just use some lecky tape. Works fine for me. On the power supply I've got here, I've got two other wires coming out which are going to Molex. What I've done is I've just used a couple of cable ties and it looks alright. If your case will allow you, try to orient your power supply to get the cables coming out as close to the back panel of your case as possible. If there is a fan, then you don't want that fan to be just against a flat piece of steel. Don't worry about it being the wrong way up. Power supplies are pretty much designed to work whichever way up they go, and this brings me on to my next point. Modern PC cases have usually got really nice cable channels. Retro cases, no such luck. The back panel is usually just a flat piece of steel. You could drill holes in it, I suppose, if you wanted. This isn't something I'm interested in. Instead, what I do is I use some of these. I searched for cable tie base and I found these absolutely fine. Here I went for the 25mm, the 1 inch, absolutely perfect. It's got a sticky back. You can see here that I'm using this section to hold down the power supply for the motherboard from the PSU. And I also use this on the inside of the drive enclosure to route the Molex cables back through. It's not a perfect solution, not by a long shot, but I think it's a lot more elegant than cables just flapping loosely in your case. And lastly, the third thing which I hate dealing with is ribbon cables. Now you've got your 40 pin for your IDE and then you've got your 20 pin for your floppy drive, and I hate these things. They gather dust like nobody's business. They make me feel sick looking at them, and also they hugely obstruct airflow around your case. In every instance, I would recommend buying new rounded IDE cables. That's the best solution. If you're on a super budget and you don't want to spend £1 on new cables, then you can do what I did on my most recent build, where I split the ribbon cables into 5 cable sections. Then I cable tied the whole lot back together to make the whole cable a lot more sleek. Again, unfortunately, due to the case, you're unlikely to be able to route these cables around the back and hide them, but with them being now a bit of a smaller form factor, they are more manageable to make them look a bit more presentable in the case. You might look at this case and you might scoff. It would be easy to laugh at it because you'd say, that still looks like shit. But if you compare this to any PC from the mid to late 90s, this is a vast improvement. You're able to get all the cables out of the way to maximize that airflow. They're going to stop the PC from gathering too much dust and dirt. There is also the element of bragging rights and aesthetics. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been of some help to you. If you are looking for tips for building and maintaining retro PCs, then please subscribe to The Game Show because we have more videos coming out all the time. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.